You're welcome back to the show. It's still Good Morning Anambra right here on ABS TV. And we have some guests with us because we are going to be exploring the topic this morning, exploring the lived experiences of Deifies. Okay, we know that there are always ability in every disability. So we have with us in the studio this morning, Amobichukwu Nwawu, the chairman, Deaf Association, Anambra State Chapter. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good morning.
We also have with us Douglas Izuchukwu. He is the Secretary, World Federation of the Deaf Youth Session, WFDYS. You're welcome.
Thank you.
And also with us is Honorable Collins Joseph, former SA to Governor on Communication Sign Language. Collins, you're welcome.
Thank you and good morning.
Good morning. Welcome all to the studio this morning. We are exploring the life of the lived experiences of the deaf. And today we'll start with Amobichukwu Nwawu. Let's know how it has been as a deaf person, your experience, your personal experience.
Okay, thank you. I've been deaf from birth. Most times when we see the various discrimination or difference between deaf children and hearing children, we tend to find out that there are some form of discrimination or something, and most of these things can affect the personal development and perhaps academic development of such deaf children, which is why it is important to have some form of special care for the deaf and ability of parents or the society to learn about deaf culture, deaf behaviors, and have a way of life of their own, and for the society also to understand that deaf persons have their own culture and their own rights and their own way, and also the ability to respect such cultures. Personally, I went to school, and my school was a deaf school, and we had a different way of teaching from the conventional hearing schools. After my college, we also had some issues with going higher because we lacked other facilities for teaching deaf students, and this actually affected the process of learning for we deaf students. And done with school, coming to work, coming out to get a job and all that, you see that when deaf persons actually go to school and they tend not to get jobs after that, it kind of discourages them or doesn't give them that encouragement needed. So we see that deaf persons, the need for parents of deaf children to actually have care and invest in their deaf children, and they will succeed no matter what happens, irrespective of their disability. And deaf persons can have inherent in them various gifts that the society can benefit from. So here we have...
no, we'll get to that later. We'll still get to that later. Let's hear from Douglas Izuchukwu. Douglas, how has it been for you what challenges have you faced as a deaf person in the society, growing up as a child too?
Thank you. In Nigeria today, being deaf is like coming to the earth to stay. And in such situation, that is where we are, now as humans. Most times they don't treat us as humans. Most persons will come on earth without having any purpose. So they look down on us. And when I became deaf in 2006 in my village, I was just at home. And at that time, there was no school for the deaf. So I wasted a lot of time at home because I was deaf. So if I had known that there was a deaf school at that time, I would have just enrolled in a school instead of staying in the house all those years and wasted my time at home. So I would say life as a deaf person is hard, basically. And through education, things can change. The world is changing now. And as a secretary of the World Federation of the Deaf Youth Section, my purpose or the scope of my job includes, advocacy around the world for, empowerment of the deaf community.
Okay, having said that, let's come back to Amobi. Let's talk about the organization, that is Anambra State Association of the Deaf. What you do to help each other in this particular association.
The Anambra State Association of the Deaf has a lot of, impact to the deaf community to actually fight towards, the welfare of the deaf community, to, offer support where necessary, to, assist deaf persons seeking employment to get it or other empowerment areas. We started since 1997, and we've had, various developments, and about I became the chairman of this association in 2017, and myself and my other members of my executive have been doing, a lot to create that empowerment, create the awareness, to see how, the community, the society at large will accept the deaf community for who they are. And we've organized like some programs in the past, like the Deaf Awareness Week in 2017, and the subsequent years. And most times we, volunteer to carry out, self-help within ourselves in our association. And also we have our office, which is located at Women Development Center. And there we require parents of deaf children who have issues with their deaf children can come over there and see how we can be able to, assist them. Most parents actually have difficulty in communicating with their deaf children. And whenever they have any issues, coming to our office sometimes can be able to, can assist them to resolve some of such, issues. So, and now in Anambra State we have the Disability Rights Commission, and in that commission we have a section for the deaf. This was not there before now, and I hope that the new administration will, continue with the support we had before.
Douglas, as the Secretary of World Federation of the Deaf Youth Section, how have you helped to alleviate the plight of some of the people in the deaf communities too, especially people that the parents don't even know how to actually communicate with their children?
Thank you. That's a very important question. At the World Federation of Deaf, I started last year, September. And I have a long way, to go. I actually, came in when someone stepped down from the organization. So I have a long way to go, and to cover up on some things. Basically, the World Federation of Deaf talks about human rights, and also to talk about the advocacy for the rights of the use of sign language. We have over 50 million, deaf persons around the world. And our work is to, ensure that we make decisions and policies, according to the UN, to actually accommodate the rights of deaf persons and to also influence society at large. So that basically is part of what we do at the World Federation of Deaf Youth.
Okay, let's talk about the magazine itself. What actually spurred the community or the association to produce a magazine where you brought out all the things that you have done in the association?
Okay, thank you. Most of the challenges we've faced since 2017, and where I took over as the chairman of the association, and having to pick some other persons within the community to work with me to see how we can document some of our programs. And most times when we record some achievements, we usually post in our Facebook page, but we thought it wise that how come we bring everything together into a magazine so that the world, governments, NGOs, private sectors can actually see that these are deaf persons and these are things they can do, and they can read and be able to explore the lived experience of deaf person. To know that deafness is it's something that it's not a disease, but it's something that you need to explore and see how you can render support to the association of deaf people at large. So launching the magazine is actually to push for, support and push for empowerment, and also talk about their life experience of deaf persons over the years. Since 2 years now in the past, it's not been easy trying to work on this, editing, researching, and several things to make sure that it's successful. We thank God that it's actually out now, and we hope that people will come as we launch it. So we are expecting to launch the magazine on the 26th of this month, and the Professor Kennedy Library, and we expect government, private sector, people, and private individuals to just come around and support the deaf community as we launch this magazine. It is just to show the ability of deaf persons, all put together in a magazine.
All right. Also, Douglas, do you believe that with the launch of this magazine, that the required attention and support that the deaf community needs will be accorded to them by stakeholders and also all the people that are involved?
Yes, I believe so. This magazine contains a lot of awareness and things that actually, when you read it, you get to understand more about the lived experience of deaf persons. How most persons, you see stories of how some of the persons who were interviewed in the magazine, how they became deaf and all that. So there are some parents who will get to read this and read about what their children say, because we interviewed some persons, and we have in this magazine a lot of stories, a lot of information, education, and things that can help. Things that you read and you'll be wowed about. This actually is coming from the deaf person. So in this magazine, it has all contained there. And also we'll be launching it. We hope that more persons will come and support us to some of the needs we have in our station. I'd also like to add that it will go a long way to reduce the discrimination that is the deaf persons are facing currently in the society.
All right. This is kind of a documentation of all your activities so far. Now, Amobi Chukwu, let's know what your activities have been like over the years that you documented inside this book.
Okay, for instance, in year 2020, we had our Deaf Awareness Week, and at that time, we had no support at that time, but we decided on our own that we're going to put something together to see how we can work towards getting our own magazine and, task ourselves within ourselves to see how we can, do and organize programs even without, some support. So we also have in the magazine, stories about deaf persons who have excelled in their various fields of endeavor, and talking about their stories, and having a lot of, smart deaf persons, and talking about their businesses, their career, various things they've done in the past, and trying to, push it out there for the society to see. Okay, also to add to it, it contains the experience of deaf persons during the lockdown, various things that was going on, the effects of COVID-19 at that time, and how it affected the lives of deaf persons, educationally, economically, socially, and different things. We had them all documented here. So it's definitely more about us. So inside this we have deaf doctors, deaf engineers, different professions. We have, we documented their stories and various things they do all in this magazine. So reading it, you get to see, various things that the deaf community have been able to achieve. We all, put it all into this. And also we have, here at the back, a proposed permanent building for the deaf community, hoping that we're going to develop it someday.
Okay, that actually brought me to my next question, asking about some of the things that this particular association is challenged with and the needs of this association. That's where people can come in and help.
The most pressing need we have now is need for a land where we want to have a deaf center where we can, be organizing skill acquisition trainings for some deaf persons, where maybe after the training they get to be empowered to start their businesses. So with that land, we also use it for, small scale agriculture, like poultry and other things, or to actually alleviate the suffering or challenges of some deaf persons. We also hope to see how we can build a mini, more like an accommodation where deaf persons who are maybe traveling or not at home can stay. We also have a need for a bus, see how we can get a bus for our association to help us in moving around to, see how we can take care of our persons. Also, many of us are in school, so we tend to seek for scholarship. Getting scholarship will actually reduce the burden on parents to continue to support the education of the deaf children.
Okay. Also, any plans for those people that their parents are not, don't even have the money to take them to school? You see them begging on the street.
Well, my advice is for them, for now, my office is under the Disability Rights Commission, the Deaf Community Service, and our job, includes advocacy, to parents who have deaf children, to bring them out. We have school for them. So some parents are not aware that we have school for the deaf. So when they bring their children out, we tend to help them to secure admission for them. And when parents listen to via the radio or television, they get to learn more about persons with disabilities and other things which they do. So bringing the children out first is very important. Then from there we can take it up from there to advise where appropriate.
Since you want to add something.
Okay, still on the challenges for. So we also kind of seek for support, like the government, to not only the government, NGOs, private sector, to come in, to our areas of need. We need books, sign language books, so we can have some, people who can donate books to us. Fine, we can, we'll need those books to send to our deaf schools to help them. It will go a long way to actually help us educationally. For instance, here in ABS, I appreciate your work, and also to suggest that if you can, report deaf news too. So make it, an ABS, let ABS be involved in this, in this crusade to see how deaf persons can be shown to the world and the ability of deaf persons in general.
That's quite a good one. Okay, now talking about the launching, when is it happening, where is it happening, and who are we expected to be at the launching?
So we've sent out invitations to the governor, to parents of deaf children, to heads of our special school. We sent out invitation to religious organizations, and other, some eminent personalities who are supportive to the deaf community. And it will be launched on the 26th of April by 11 a.m. at Professor Kennedy E-Library. And we hope that you will come over that day and see deaf persons having their drama. You see deaf persons singing and deaf persons, showing their talents why we launched this. Okay. Also, this is a special invitation to ABS to please, I want you to come and show us to the world and let them see what the deaf can do. You too, we want you to come too.
Okay, right now we are going to take a short break. Let's bring to you something that we actually prepared, that is talking about benefits of sign language. We'll be back. Stay with us.
If we national TV, it was 18 years and then Jagunus. Then Mundo Cape, Mundo came when the good when had a barrow, like a barrow for that, which see if of for the Gabafano. I want to sign that's a language. I got Brabunu. I was so much. I got Brabunu. Where now for now on your banner, I was here in Nigeria.
Ana Kuzia, Onya Malia, Farmer Macedonia, the Obu, Nonya, the Robu, or the Mpa, Nagana Kuzia, Konyo, Nagota, if I name it, Mana.
Sign languages should be taught in school, and then you mean everybody will learn it, not just the people that needed it. Well, the way Nigeria is going, or where we are now, it's a good advocacy. If everybody can learn it and begin to, it can make them to feel belonged, to feel loved. Your advocacy is good, so that we can relate to them, with them, and love them, so that they can feel belong to the society.
You're welcome back, and we have a caller with us. Hello, good morning. Okay, if you also want to call and probably chip in one or two things in what we are saying this morning, the numbers are displayed on your screen so that you can call us and talk to us. If you have any contribution to what we are saying this morning, you're free to do so. All right, coming back to you, let's know how you feel the people, we're not talking about government, stakeholders can come in to help the deaf community. But before you answer that, let's know who's here. Hello, good morning. Hello? Okay. Now, in their capacity, how can they come on a personal, on individual basis? How can they come to the aid of this association?
So we seek for support of individuals who have the interest of deaf community at heart to please come over to help. Maybe when you have programs or you have events or you have empowerment, try to also remember the deaf persons also need some of these programs too. I know the advocacy is not out there. Not many people actually are aware of the needs of deaf people. But situations like this can actually help in that. So basically we need partnership, come and partner with the deaf community and areas where you can, come in and support. Is it in school or in human empowerment or in healthcare or leadership training or skill acquisition? These are various areas we need, private organizations or, private organizations or individuals to come in to help and to support. So if you can also assist in to offer, mentorship and stuff like that, we are all, you're welcome. We receive all that. Thank you. Other ways individuals can help is include us in their policies making process. like when you're having organizing programs or having like a magazine, for instance, having the interest to learn sign language to, to communicate with deaf, offer support where necessary, So they can also help to advocate on our behalf for the rights of the deaf individuals in Anambra State. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have the school for the deaf in Anambra State, and where is it located? For the sake of people that are watching us this morning.
Yes, we have a school for the deaf. We have special school for the deaf. BASDEM is at Isulo. So, and we also have special teachers over there, and we need more of them to be there. So need for professional deaf teachers as well to go. We also have another deaf school, the deaf school at Onitsha, and also another one at Umuchu. These are deaf schools we have, and there's a private school also here in Awka too. And one other one in Orifite, that's also a missionary school, and also Newi.
Okay, so these are the schools we have in Anambra State for the deaf. Okay, that's quite interesting. Okay, as you're rounding off the show, coming back to you now, what's your advice or what do you want to drop for people that are listening to us this morning, especially as regards to the launching of this magazine coming up soon in Anambra?
I advise them to seek for knowledge, from the deaf persons, learn about their experiences, try to be in their shoe, and try to know where it pains. So you can also get all this knowledge by buying this magazine, and treat us as human beings, treat us as people who have rights, okay, just as yourself. So that's just my advice to the society.
Okay, and from the chairman?
Also, my advice would be to kindly contact our office. If you cannot call us, you can reach us through our interpreter, or if you're a deaf person and a parent that have deaf children, you can also see how to reach out to us and see areas where we can offer support and advice.
And this is the first edition, right? So do we have plans for subsequent ones?
Of course, we'll have subsequent editions. And the fact is, this is the first state chapter of the Deaf Association to have her own magazine.
Wow,
so Anambra is the only first that we've not had any other
congrats.
states launching their own magazine. So other states, we're receiving commendations from other states for this feat, and we are happy that finally we'll be launching it.
And where also would
Thank
you
you.
like these magazines to be seen? Like libraries, schools, homes?
So when we are done with the launching, we'll see how we can, create more advocacy on it. But we would like people to actually buy it.
All right, and we want to
widely.
say a very big thank you to you, Amobi Chupu Nwankwo, the chairman, Deaf Association, Anambra State Chapter. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And also to Douglas Izuchukwu, the secretary, World Federation of the Deaf Youth Section. Thank you also for coming this morning.
Thank you. We love you.
Also, Honorable Collins Joseph, the former SA to the Governor on Communications Sign Language. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
with us.
Pleasure to be here always.
All right, thank you so much for being part of this show this morning. We really appreciate you. And we also closing with this, a drama on advisory by the deaf community on rape prevention. So have a wonderful weekend.
Stop that rape is not good.